Hi, my name's John. A year ago, I never even heard of Fruits Basket. That is until my girlfriend introduced the anime to me.
And I'm Allie. I've been reading the manga since I was in 3rd grade.
We loved watching season 1 together so much, and we'd have all these crazy long discussions about what happened in each episode.
And for season 2, we thought it would be really fun to share our conversations with you.
So join us today as we talk about season 2, episode 13, Sure Thing. So before we get started, if you're a returning listener, then welcome back. And if you're a new listener, we're glad to have you on our Fruits Basket podcast. And if you want to stay up to date with all of our Fruits Basket content, then make sure to go down and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. But with all that out of the way, where are we starting?
So we're starting out. Kyo grew. You know, it's post-summer break. He grew over the summer. And Uotani's kind of grumpy about that.
This episode starts out fast, and I swear it doesn't let off the gas throughout the entire thing.
No.
Because just her starting with just, like, hitting him in the face.
It was so funny.
And then I thought it was cool to see that she's frustrated that she didn't get to see Kureno again. And it's like, you have a right to feel that way, but he's going through it right now. It's not intentional. I'm sure he'd rather be with you.
Yeah, he was a little busy, you know, over the summer with a certain family.
But that whole interaction between Arisa and Kyo is just wonderful because I missed Hanajima and Uotani. And so just seeing them back, I was like, ooh, even if it was for a little bit. and then Hanajima just, like, totally confirms that she knows Kyo's crushing on Toru.
Oh, yeah. And I do have to call out, Crunchyroll had kind of a bad translation here. So
Yeah, it took me a minute.
Yeah, to figure out what Hanajima was implying.
Yeah.
Okay. So just say first, what was Hanajima? She was implying that Kyo has a thing for Toru?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. He knows, manga readers. He knows. Don't worry.
Yeah, and it's essentially confirmed that Kyo knows that's what she's talking about too when he gets so flustered and he's like, are you reading my mind?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I have the manga in front of me, but it's a lot of dialogue, so I'm not going to read it. So just take our word for it, everybody. It was a translation mishap, and you could get there yourself if you're an anime only, but it would have taken a little bit more brain power than how they spell it out easily in the manga.
Yeah. And then we get the opening again, which, weird choice, after 2 episodes of just not having it, to just be like, here it is.
Here it is. We had one version that had Kureno in it, and, you know, we had to use it at some point, so.
Which, okay, can we talk about this for a second?
Okay. I already know where you're going.
Why on earth is he a sparrow? He's a rooster.
Why is Hattori a seahorse?
'Cause dragons aren't real.
But what if the dragon used to turn into a dragon and now they turn into a seahorse?
Then why... No. Then why is Kisa still a tiger? That's a more imposing animal than a rooster.
I'm not choosing who turns into what here. I'm just saying that maybe there's a reason he's a sparrow.
I disagree. He could totally be a rooster.
I want you to think on that one. I think your anger is unjustified.
I think it's justified. Anyways, so that was my one little thing. We're back into the show. And oh my gosh, why is she back? I was so happy when we didn't have to see Minagawa for a while.
Really?
I do not like Minagawa.
Oh, poor Minagawa.
Is that mean?
No, it's not mean. You're allowed to dislike her. She is a little overboard and like 90s anime-ish, so I could see why you get a little annoyed by her.
The Prince Yuki fan club is too much a little bit.
I mean, Kimi agrees.
Yeah? Oh.
Our girl Kimi, she's here. Finally.
This was the greatest introduction to a character, just like ever, besides, well, we'll get to him in a little bit, but
Kimi's great.
They describe her as a devil who seduces men with her looks. I don't even know how to describe her. Big fan. Big fan.
Okay,
Big fan.
When they show Kimi, she has some sunflowers around her. And, you know, symbolism time with Allie. Sunflowers in Japan have a whole lot of meanings, but I'll go over just a couple of them. They can symbolize adoration, loyalty, and longevity. And there also is a little backstory with them that has a different symbolism. So in Japan, which is also known as the land of the rising sun, they used to worship in, I think, the Shinto religion. I can't remember. But they used to worship this goddess of the sun. And so it's no wonder why a flower that worships the sun would have such a symbolic meaning. So I have a headcanon here that they showed sunflowers with Kimi because they were calling her, like, a devilish seductress. Meanwhile, our girl Kimi is, like, all angelic with these beautiful sunflowers that are all just worshipping the sun goddess. Wow, what a ray of sunshine. But I know that you know a little bit about the goddess of the sun, so I need you to nerd out a little bit here, please.
So I don't really know anything about, like, cultural implications of the goddess of the sun, but I know that in Persona 4, which I'm just about to beat here in a second, one of the party members that I always use because she's a great healer, Yukiko, has Amaterasu, the goddess of the sun, as her persona, which I thought is fabulous. And I don't know, you were mentioning the goddess of the sun, and I was like, that's a persona!
It is. And I can't pronounce her name for the life of me, so thank you for taking the bullet there for me.
Of course. I probably mispronounced it anyways, but, you know.
You all good.
Happens.
And another thing that Kimi could represent, and I saw this floating around on Twitter, and I totally didn't get a screenshot of it. If I find it, I'll put it up here. But Kimi could represent everything that the Prince Yuki fan club thought that Toru was. So they thought that Toru was being, like, this enchantress and seductress trying to lead Yuki astray. And, like, that's not Toru, you know? Like, she's just trying to be friends with everybody. She's just trying to have a roof over her head with people she enjoys being around. And Kimi is, like, that is who they thought Toru was. But we got Kimi, we got Yun, and we got Kakeru.
Yun. Yun. Oh my gosh. When she said that, my thoughts instantly went to, oh, this is Kakeru. This is his doing. And then he pops around the corner, and just the two of them together have such just chaotic energy.
Yes! I did throw in a baby spoiler when, after that one episode, way early, it might have been episode 1 or 2, I totally can't remember, of the second season, we had talked about who John thought the other members of the student council would be, and, like, if Rika would be pink, and who would be the colors, and would Momiji be blue, because those were your ideas. Now we have met Pink and Blue, and we know who Yellow is, too.
Yes.
So, all of that is confirmed. Hey! But, yeah, I love Kimi and Kakeru, and I did kind of tease you that there would be a lot of chaotic energy, what a lot of people have referred to as the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. That is the best way to describe the student council.
So, Machi doesn't seem too much like a horseman of the apocalypse. She seems nice. Which, can I get into my thoughts? She didn't talk at all in this episode, but can I get into my thoughts about Machi?
Please do.
Her and Yuki are totally going to date and fall in love and just be a wonderful power couple. I'm calling it right now.
Why do you think that?
Okay, so when we first meet her, she is very flustered, right?
Yeah.
Like, in the first episode.
Yeah.
And so, I feel like, that was her, like, I almost feel like she was, like, trying to get everything, like, really organized and perfect for Yuki before he started, but she seems like an overall disorganized person.
Yeah.
And things just went horribly wrong. And then she was super embarrassed about it. And that's why she super recoiled when he touched her. And then in this episode, she just, anytime Yuki would, like, talk or address her, her eyes would, like, they would focus on her eyes, and she would, like, gaze up at him. I don't know. I feel like that could be, like, a good dynamic, because they're both kind of introverted a little bit, but so I don't know her personality. So I can't imagine that she's the worst. I see people say that they like her, so I'm just operating under the assumption that she's not the worst. And that she's a delightful human being. And I don't know, maybe I just want them to date. I want him to have a good girl, because he needs a rock.
Okay, I can see how you got there.
I don't really have
you're right or wrong, but, like,
I don't really
Kimi,
have conclusive proof, but what about Kimi?
You don't think it's Kimi, you don't think it's Toru, you don't think it's Minagawa, you don't think it's...
Toru is married to Kyo.
They're married. Okay.
They're married now.
They're married. They invented love.
That happened off screen. So they're married. And in terms of Kimi, I think she would eat Yuki alive. And so I just don't want that to happen to him.
Okay.
But yeah, that's where that all lies.
Okay, now that we're on the subject of relationships, I'm going to ask you a whole bunch of questions about relationships within the student council, okay?
Oh, God. Okay. Shoot.
First, Kakeru said that he went on a ton of dates over the summer. Do you think you know any of the people that he is interested in dating?
Interested in dating or
interested
went on
in
dates
dating,
with?
Currently dating, anything revolving around Kakeru's love life?
I feel like probably. Though I can't think of anyone who he would have actively dated in that time period. He gave Toru kind of a forlorn look as she was walking away with Kyo. But I couldn't tell if that's because he thought Toru and Yuki had a thing and he felt bad about that. Because he brings that up later. Or if because I think he might, maybe if it's not like a romantic thing, but I feel like he grew up or something with Toru. Like he knows Toru somehow from like childhood or something.
Okay.
Or something like that, I would say.
Good theories. I'll take them. Okay, so
in terms of dating, I don't know. Maybe he went on a date with Kimi for funsies, but I don't think there's really anything there in terms of that.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Do you think that Kimi and Kakeru are like a bromance or something more?
Oh, totally a bromance. Like, I feel like they're the type of people who even, like, they flirt with each other constantly, but they know it's totally platonic.
Okay.
That's the vibes I got, because, like, she would, like, touch his face and then punch his face and, like, punch him really aggressively when her voice went to its actual tone.
Yeah.
And so I think that they're just, like, BFFs.
Okay. Not everyone has to date. I agree.
Yeah.
And then last question about relationships within the student council that I have. Please leave more below if you would like John to answer them, as long as they aren't spoilery. But, okay. So we meet now, and
yes.
He
is such a blue.
Yeah, he's such a blue. But he starts to say that he views Yuki as a rival before he gets cut off. In what way does Nao view Yuki as a rival?
To be completely honest, I have no idea. I genuinely have no, I can't get a beat on Nao. I don't know what his deal is. He seems like a cool character, and I'm fascinated to learn more about him, but I have no idea.
Okay. Those were my relationships within the student council, questions. Now let's just talk about how absolutely chaotic they were. Because, oh boy, those meetings.
Oh, Yuki's internal monologue was such a mood.
Yeah.
About how he was just like, how am I going to lead these people? What have I done to myself? But then he like references his promise to himself over the summer, which I thought was dope. And he is so much more expressive now. Just in his facial reactions and his overall affect, he's so much more expressive, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think, personally, that it started once he came back from the annex over summer break, and he threatened Kyo, and he's like, I'm me. I'm a person who's better than you. That's when I think the switch happened. So, like, post-stargazing, that's when Yuki changed, in my mind.
100%. I agree. And I think he's still struggling, as we see in this episode, with a lot of inner demons and a lot of inner turmoil. Kind of like what we referenced in like a previous video about. I think he still is dealing with what I believe to be PTSD from all of his experiences with Akito. We have a whole video on that. I'll pop a card up top so that you can click on that if you're interested. In season 1 and the beginning of season 2, he fits all the diagnostic criteria for PTSD.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but now we really get to see a little bit into his head about kind of his inferiority complex. Like, he compares himself with everyone. And so seeing him compare himself with Kyo and Kakeru, and seeing like, what'd he say? That their light was so bright that he might disappear. Like, that hit me really hard. Because it shows just how hard on himself he is, and just how low the boy's self-esteem is.
Oh, definitely. And I appreciated that dialogue just from a writing standpoint as a person trying to get in the heads of teenagers. Because literally 90% of teenagers that read that can be like, I relate. I compare myself to everyone. Which, what fantastic writing. Thank you, Takaya. Bless us more.
Yes. No, 100%. It's so spot on with how teenagers genuinely act. And while I think that Yuki might deal with this too a bit more heavily than most, just due to his so much trauma growing up.
Yeah.
Which, again, I've said it before, I will continue saying it. Dude needs to see a counselor. As someone in a master's counseling program, he needs to see a counselor. He needs to talk it out. Although, I guess it would get a little bit fishy with the whole Zodiac thing. That's a big point that he couldn't talk about. That's really the basis for a lot of this, so maybe it wouldn't be as helpful as it could be, but I still think he should go talk to someone.
Yeah, definitely. I agree there. But despite all of his troubles and what's going on internally with him, he's still such a good boy. And
he's so good.
He offered to help with the flowers with those girls where it's like their after club thing. Or after school club thing where they plant the flowers. And symbolism time with Allie. I don't think that these flowers have any drastic symbolism. I think they're just filler. But I will point out what they are and what they mean. So one of them is a Gerbera daisy. And that means beauty and happiness. And the other one that's behind the Gerbera daisies is hyacinth. And that means longevity and power. Don't think they're at all symbolic to the story. But I do like flowers, so I'll point them out.
Long live President Yuki. May he always have power over the school and the school defense force.
That's what they mean.
Yeah.
Duh, of course.
Very intentional. Very intentional.
I didn't catch it.
He will rule with an iron fist.
Oh, I also have to point out here, now that we're talking about the flowers, there are two big changes that happened with these chapters from manga to anime. Yes, I do miss them. I do think that the big one that every single manga reader is thinking about right now will come back. I still have my fingers crossed, and I will cry if it does not appear. And I really want John to see it. And if he does not see it, I'm making him read it in the manga. I don't care. So, but the other scenes that the flowers reminded me of, I really miss those too. I don't care that they were only a couple panels. I miss them, and I wish that they were present. That's all I'm going to say about the differences between the manga and anime. Let's continue.
I guess I wish they were present too.
Yeah, you should.
If they hadn't included the intro, could they have included those scenes? Like, would there have been time?
I mean, there definitely would have been time. The scenes that I'm thinking of are really, really short. Like, the ones that the flowers reminded me of, they're really, really short, and I think it gives you a lot more insight into Yuki's relationship with another character. I won't say who, because manga spoilers. But it gives you more insight into his relationship with that person. And I think it would be really beneficial for you understanding where he is in this point of the story. And it would be nice to have it. I don't think it's necessary, but it would be really nice.
Okay.
Which is probably why they cut it.
They don't want to give us too much.
Yeah, they still like all the discourse.
Yeah, I can vibe with that. It makes it interesting.
It does. But we get more Yuki and Kakeru, because Kakeru is always sleepy.
Yes. And this whole next scene, it felt like a sitcom in the best ways possible.
Yeah.
Because when Kimi and Machi walked in with the comedically long whiteboard, and Kakeru referred to her as their seductress.
Because she begged the teacher to give it to her. I do have some little observations here for you. So, when Yuki doesn't call Kimi by her first name, she has a little freak out, and then Yuki has to start calling people by their first names. Uh-oh. He doesn't even do that with Toru.
He's not great at that. But he snaps into place really well.
Yeah, he collected himself.
He really, he fell in line.
And then Kimi starts saying that Machi needs to tell Yuki in the same way that she did about calling her by her first name. And suddenly, Kakeru decides that talking about colors is stupid and they shouldn't do it anymore. Isn't that a little sus? Oh?
What if Kakeru likes Machi?
That'd be interesting.
What? Oh! What if... Oh. Brain blast. What if this is like a love triangle? Like they were trying to lead us on with Kyo, Toru, and Yuki. But this time Yuki actually wins. Because he's actually interested in this one.
He's actually invested in his relationship with Machi.
Well, not that he's not invested in his relationship with Toru, but it's romantically. Ooh, that would be interesting, because I'm kind of digging the bromance that they kind of were hinting at towards the end there.
With who? With
Yuki and Kakeru?
Oh yeah, they do get a little... That was really cute at the end.
I have a good vibe with that.
Okay. I like your theory. I like it.
Also, last thing from that little scene, unless you have something, Neener head is now going to be my go-to insult.
Oh my gosh, Kakeru is great.
I love him. This might be my favorite episode. The last 3 have been my favorite episodes, but this might be my favorite.
You do like slice of life, so this is for you.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't have anything else from the student council meeting, but then we do get Yuki, who, he's carrying the seedlings, and he runs into Kakeru, and, next thing the seedlings are on the ground. That was a scene.
That was one heck of a scene. And I love how we actually get insight into Kakeru in this moment. Because we've known that Yuki has issues with his self-esteem. From literally episode 1, the last time we saw Mokoto in an episode, when he told her that something along the lines of how he barely even likes himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we've known that he has those very profound self-esteem issues. And so I like how Kakeru almost stirs the pot with him, like Toru stirs the pot with Kyo.
Ooh, good comparison.
Because this is the first time he is viscerally, let out that he knows that he acts like a know-it-all, he said, right?
Yeah.
He said that out loud. He said that don't compare our happiness, or what do you know about that?
Mm-hmm.
And so him actually getting this out, I'm sure it seemed very cathartic for him, and I don't think he's ever said anything like that explicitly before.
No, usually his fights with Kyo are simply just
you're
beating
dumb.
each other.
Yeah.
Or flinging small insults, like you're a stupid cat and you won't be in the zodiac, dumb stuff like that, where he just brushes it off, whatever.
Yeah,
Not
and
even thinking about
Toru's
it.
helped him to open up, and she's kind of like a safety blanket for him, but she doesn't challenge him like Kyo does.
No, he'll just
she
randomly start
challenges
opening
Kyo.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll just randomly start opening up to her, and she's like, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
But this was like a back and forth, and we actually got to see him have that really emotional kind of impact as they're kind of fighting it out in a way, grabbing each other's shirts and just screaming at each other.
Wow.
And
I'm so happy that you compared Yuki and Kakeru's relationship to Toru and Kyo's, because honestly, won't lie, at this point in the story, when I read it as a manga reader, so experiencing it one of the first times, and being of age where I actually understand what's going on, I'm not in 3rd grade, I viewed Kakeru as being very antagonistic. I was one of the people where when I first experienced the story, I did not like him, and I thought that he was being really rude and pushing Yuki's buttons for no reason. And I viewed him that way throughout the whole first time I read the story. I did not like Kakeru. And I still kind of was holding on to some of those feelings. Why does he always have to do this? The first time he meets Yuki, he pushes his buttons then and, refers to him as being very womanly and that he's pink and, just to mess with him. And then now here it's happening again. And I got really mad with him. But comparing it to getting him to open up, like Kyo and Toru do, I really like that. I like that a lot.
And I don't know if it's intentional. I don't know if it's unintentional, because he even said himself that he's not able to see other people's perspectives, and sometimes he goes a little bit too far, and that's something that he needs to work on.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel as though this sounds... Yuki has a very, very profound shell around him right now. And while I wouldn't recommend trying this with everyone, that extra little push to get him out of that shell seems to work for him. Very well probably wouldn't work for a lot of people, but I think that extra push really is almost good for Yuki to get this stuff out that he's never gotten out before. And so I do think that Kakeru is a little bit antagonistic and a little bit rude sometimes. I don't think it comes from a mean-spirited place, though.
Yeah.
And it almost feels like the way he's trying to connect with Yuki so that he can get past that superficial class president, Prince Yuki, like, facade that he keeps up to protect himself.
True. Okay. Ooh, I like your theories.
So, the more I see of Kakeru, the more I love him. Not only is he hilarious, but I think he's actually going to be... maybe we can add him to the Avengers.
Maybe.
Like, every Zodiac member gets an Avenger.
If you don't know what John is referring to, in our previous episode, because you really just came out of nowhere with that. In the previous episode, he had said that there was kind of like the Avengers forming that are gonna take down Akito and the Bond. So we got like Toru, we got Kazuma. Was there anybody else?
Uotani, probably.
Oh, Uotani, because of Kureno.
Yeah.
And now we got Kakeru. Okay.
Yeah.
Avengers
he can
assemble.
be like Ant-Man.
Oh my god. Only show up at the very end.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then save the day.
Yeah. He's the straw that broke the camel's back. Or I guess the curses? I don't know.
The Akito's back.
Oh my
He will
god.
break Akito.
We'll see. Okay, so...
He just annoys him to death.
He would. He really would. Akito would be like, "You're so loud. Stop talking."
Akito's like, stop. And he's like, okay, Rita Repulsa.
Oh my god. Now all I can think about is Akito and Kakeru talking. Wow. What
that
a
would
trip.
be one for the history books.
That would be amazing. Okay. One last little note that I have is, so Kakeru had said, "You said the exact same thing as her." And it seems like the sentence that he's referring to is when Yuki said, "Is it fun to go on about who looks happy or who looks unhappy?" Or at least that's how I read it. Do you think that's what he was referring to? And who do you think Kakeru is talking about when he says her?
So, you're asking me who I think her is. So that means that we probably know her.
You could assume that.
What if... So I mentioned earlier that he might have known Toru when they were little. And he does give that look to her. That kind of looks sad, you know?
Okay.
What if she said it? What if Toru said it?
That's possible.
What if he caught her at a bad time, right after her mom died, right?
Okay.
And what if they were even like friends before that? And he was being very Kakeru around her, and she didn't have her typical Toru facade up because it was still such a fresh wound. Because we know her happy-go-luckiness is totally a facade.
Yeah.
Like, there's a degree to it that's Toru in nature. But what if he caught her at the worst moment, and her facade was down, she couldn't bring it back up, and he said something like that, and she snapped on him. Like, I can't really imagine her snapping in anger, but, like, she's human, you know?
That's true.
So maybe it was Toru. Or maybe it was Machi.
Could have been. Ooh.
Because if we're drawing that Yuki-Machi parallel, and we're making that love triangle, then I think it very well could be Machi, because he did have that vested interest. Like, let's not talk about colors anymore. This is dumb. Who even brought this up? As soon as Yuki started giving Machi, like, concerted attention. And so,
I don't know.
what if she snapped at him? Because we did see those two together at the end of season 1, right?
We did.
So they're friends.
Yeah.
And so maybe it was either Toru or Machi. I'm actually leaning more towards Machi now that I like have processed it out.
Okay. I appreciate all your theories. You're putting puzzle pieces together, you're using the information that you have, and you're working with it. So even if you don't like your Toru theory anymore, I still appreciate it. I like these puzzle pieces.
It's one of the two. I don't think that there's anyone else it could be unless I'm vastly overlooking something. But
who knows?
Is there anything else about this episode in particular that you wanted to talk about?
I just want to give a big ol' shout out to the moment where Kakeru apologizes to Kyo totally out of context, and Kyo's like, "Who are you?"
And he just dances away.
I love that moment. I was praying that they would leave it in, and they did, and I smiled, and I was like, I got something. I got something from what I wanted. Got one thing. 1 out of 3.
he just lives in his own head, because as he was walking down the stairs and he was just like humming and singing to himself.
Oh yeah, he's all over.
This episode, this is the best feeling when a show can do this. I want to be friends with these characters.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be around them, like, in real life, or people like them. Like, I want to be around the student council. Kyo and Toru, like, they seem chill. Not necessarily sure I'd want to, like, hang out with them for prolonged periods of time. Like, I don't know if I could jive with them like that. But, like, these people, I'm like, yo, sign me up. If I was 7 years younger.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
No, yeah. Right?
In high school. I, like, keep forgetting that we're, like, older than that. But, okay. Fantastic episode. I loved it. Next episode, I guess we're taking a darker turn because we hear Hatsuharu say, "I should just die."
Well, we'll see what that's about, because I don't really want to think about it.
We'll see. I'm excited to see it. I know a lot of manga readers are too, but being excited to see something doesn't necessarily always mean that it's good.
Yeah, that doesn't really mean anything. That's almost scarier.
I mean, one of my favorite chapters of all time is Kagura confessing that she pitied Kyo her entire life.
Oh, that was such a good episode.
It was such a good episode. Okay.
Alright, but that'll do it for today's podcast, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and if you have any questions for me about any theories I might have, any questions or comments for Allie that's more manga related, just make sure you label it with a spoiler tag. Leave those in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, why not liking this video, why not subscribing to the channel, and why not even ringing that notification bell so you never miss another upload. So, as always, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, a fantastic rest of your week, and why not even a fantastic rest of your month, and we will see you in the next video.
See ya.
Later.